This conference will now be recorded.
So what all we'll be discussing in this training and how you can get into the industry and like how I can help you to get into the industry. So the complete overview of the training, the duration and everything yesterday we have discussed. So today let us discuss about a couple of things which is related to the subject. That is, first let's try to understand why SAP has come up with S4HANA. Well, because we already have a ERP, right? That is ECC, but still SAP has come up with this new ERP called as S4HANA. And let's try to also understand what is landscape and what is client, various other things related to the landscape. So the first thing, let us discuss on why SAP has come up with S4HANA. So first of all, what is SAP? SAP, as you know, it's a ERP, right? So ERP is enterprise resource planning, and it will help organizations to coordinate between all the departments and have a seamless integration between the departments, and it will also help in managing the decisions. Okay, so SAP is a ERP, and SAP was there in existence since last 40 years. SAP was first founded in 1972 by ex IBM employees. Then later, SAP has come up with its benchmark product in 1979, which is called as R2. It's called as R2. R2 is nothing but real-time two-tier architecture. Okay, let me show you the picture as well. That gives more clarity. So I new business suite. So this is a journey of SAP. You could see here in 1979, SAP has come up with SAP has come up with R2 product, and you could see its employees,
Your voice is breaking up.
Your voice is breaking.
it was just only two countries at that time with a
Your
revenue
voice is breaking.
of hardly
Your voice is breaking.
5 million euros.
Hello? Your voice is breaking, sir.
And the complete a new product was introduced only in 1992. You see here, and which is called the R3 real-time three-tier architecture. It's a client-server base because R2 is a
Sir,
mainframe
repeat again,
standalone
sir. We
system,
didn't hear
and
anything, sir.
R3 is a client-server based system. And you
Praveen,
see
sir.
a new has been completely
Sir, your voice is not clear.
last
Please repeat it.
1992. This is like a mission product has been R3, and since then you see how SAP has exponentially grown. But what you notice here is, hello, able to hear me? Because some
Sir, your voice is breaking a lot. I could not hear anything.
From
we
starting to up
my
to
connect to my
now, we
mobile
didn't hear
because there was
anything.
some huge ping and there was a issue connected through mobile. So let's see for the next 5 minutes if we could manage. Okay. So just give me 1 minute. Right network. Just give 1 minute. Okay. So 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah. Just a minute. Let me fix my network issue, everyone. One moment. Yeah. Are you able to hear me, everyone, now? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me switch to
Can you
my
please
network.
re-explain everything, sir? Because we could not hear
Yes,
anything
yes.
what you said.
Absolutely, absolutely. One. Can you hear me well, everyone?
Now I
Can
can
someone
hear
confirm,
you.
please? It's clear right now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead. Okay, so let me repeat. So SAP is a ERP, and SAP has come up with its ERP in 1979. It has come up with its first product called as R2, and R2 is a mainframe system, and you could see in how many countries it is present, and like what is the customers, total employees, and everything. The next version of R2, or the later, SAP has come up with its product called.
Hello.
We lost your voice.
There seems to be some error, network issue, sir.
Praveen sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sorry.
audible.
Yeah, there
We
was
lost your
some
audio.
network issue. Okay, I'll continue again. So I have an issue with this network because of heavy rain and thunder here. So let me check. Just give me one moment. Able to not see my screen. One moment. Let me switch my screen. Yeah. So now you can hear me, right? And it's clear. Sorry about this
Yes.
network issue. Let me go. Okay, so if you notice here, there was only a change in 2015 with a new product called as S4 HANA. But after 1992, from the R3 version, there is no new product was launched. It was only adding a new functionalities into the existing application. But altogether, there is no new code line rewritten, or SAP has not come up with any new product since then, right? So it was just adding functionalities. So there was, after R3 product, there were versions like 4, 4.6, 4.6c, then 4.7, ECC 5, and ECC 6. So ECC 6 was the last version what SAP has come up. Please mute everyone. I heard some background noise. Please mute. Yeah. So only in whatever the product we are learning today, it was introduced in 2006. And what SAP was doing since then? SAP was just releasing patches, which we call it as EHP. Okay, we call them as EHP. So if you notice, from 1992, SAP has not come up with any new version of the products. It was just stuffing the functionalities, and this application has become so much burdened, it is not ready to take any new functionality. On the other hand, if you see, in the last 10-15 years, there was a lots of technology explosion happened. There is something IoT, there is big data, there is blockchain, and there is cloud computing. There are many new technologies has come, right? Mobile, right? So now SAP has to be in a position to catch up all these new technologies, but it is not possible with its existing ECC application because it is not cloud. SAP is not cloud until S4 HANA, but today every application is cloud, right? So SAP really very badly needs a new product. But what SAP really need? Do SAP nearly need a new application? Not really. SAP don't need an application because SAP has segregated its application into different modules as we discussed yesterday, like core modules, new dimensional modules, industry specific modules. And there is a distributed landscape of servers which are connected. Okay. So application wise, yeah, really SAP needs to work on it because there was no code line rewritten since last some 25 years. The programs are same and they are burdened, right? But what is more SAP really needed rather than a new application? That is database. SAP never had its own database. SAP really needs its own database. Why SAP really needs its own database? Let's take a very simple analogy to better understand this particular. So we are calling this as real-time three-tier architecture, right? So in the real-time three-tier architecture, the application will be like this. The application will be like this. We have presentation layer, that is input and output. Then we have, this presentation layer. Then application layer, this is where SAP is sitting, the program logic is sitting, and we have database, right? This is three-tier architecture. So if you want some calculation to be done, so you give a query here, this is input output, and the application needs some data. So data will be fetched from the database, right? Let's assume that there are 1 billion records in this particular database, and out of that, we need only 10 records to do this calculation. Okay, so this input is taken 2 seconds, and to pass on this query to database, maybe it has taken 2 seconds. To search the data here in the database, let's say it has taken maybe some 1 hour. Right? Huge data is there. So once the data is found, it has given to the application area. Maybe this is 2 seconds, and the calculation has been done, and the output has been given to that particular application. That is 2 seconds. That means this total calculation, if we put together, is 1 minute, so 1 hour, 8 seconds, right? So in this 1 hour, 8 seconds, where SAP has spent, our system has spent most of its time, either in calculation or searching the data.
Searching the data.
Searching the data, right? So now you tell what SAP really need. SAP really need it's a new application or it needs its own database?
Database.
Because SAP never had its own database. Prior to S/4HANA or HANA, SAP never had its own database. SAP was relying on third-party database like Oracle or Sybase, or it could be MS. It could be other databases, but not its own proprietary database, right? So that's where the SAP really needs. And see, and there is also one like complaint from the customers that SAP is not good in reporting. SAP is good in functionalities, but SAP is not good in reporting, or maybe better reportings are available in the market at cheaper price or like best value. So all this, there is a complaint on SAP that it's not good at reports. But today, you know, right, everything runs on reports. So SAP badly needs a new reporting tool. It's not a reporting tool. It already have a fantastic reporting tool like BW, BOIBOS. There are very various tools, but really it needs its own database. So that's where SAP started its focus from 2004 and 5 kind of thing. And in 2010, SAP could achieve or conceive its own database called as HANA, High Performance Analytical Appliance. You see, the acronym of HANA is High Performance Analytical Appliance. That means HANA is not only a license from SAP, database license from SAP, you should also have that compatible hardware, because in HANA, the memory, the processor, you can scale up to 12 terabyte. I'm talking about processor, not hard drive. Processor, you can scale up to 12 terabyte. Right? So that is what the computing power now SAP got with HANA. Okay. So from 1992, SAP never had its own database, but it was just like releasing EHPs. That's called as enhancement packages. The latest enhancement package is 8, but we will be practicing on 7. 8, you really don't need it. So the version what we are learning in this training is called as ECC6 EHP7. Okay, this is the product, and you can consider this is the last legacy product of ECC. After this, it was only S4 HANA. Okay, after this, it was only S4 HANA. So how S4 HANA has come up? So that is, you could see here. So what SAP has first done is, we have ECC, right? Then SAP first got its HANA database. SAP has first tried and tested its HANA database on SAP's reporting tool called as BW. I told you, right? SAP really needs, very badly needed one reporting tool. So SAP, whatever the reporting tool SAP has, which is called as BW, Business Warehousing, they have tested it in HANA database. It was very much success because it has proved to be almost more than 100 times or more than that. Okay, so now reporting issue has been solved. Then what is the other issue now we have? ERP. Because as I told you, the ERP was burdened with lots of functions and the tables are not ready to take any new functionality. So SAP was coming with various individual modules or new dimension modules kind of thing to accommodate new functionalities. So this ERP was very much burdened, right? So what SAP has done is they have come up with a product. In 2013, they have come up with a product called as SOH, Suite on HANA. What is this Suite on HANA? That is, as I told you, SAP never had its own database. So what they have done is SAP has loaded its ERP, that is nothing but ECC, on HANA database. Earlier, this ECC, the SAP's ERP used to sit on Oracle or some other databases. But in 2013, they have come up with a product called as Suite on HANA, SOH, which is the ECC is sitting on HANA database. Perfectly fine. But what is wrong with this product? Anyone? What is wrong with this product? The issue is database is new.
Code line
Database is right. The database is fresh with no index tables, no aggregate tables, right? So database is new, but ECC, the ERP was with the same program lines, the 100,000 junk lines of programs, what we have seen earlier. So what SAP has done is in 2015, SAP altogether come up with a new product called as S4HANA Enterprise Management, where your programs has been completely rewritten according to the database HANA. So this is the new fresh product from a new innovation from the SAP, where the programs has been completely rewritten and the database is also new. That's how SAP has come up with a new product called as S4HANA in 2015. Later in 2017, SAP has completely stopped its ECC, and from 2017, it was only S4HANA. If any customer want to go any customer want to go for SAP, they have to go for only S4HANA and there is no ECC. But all the existing customers, they are still using SAP for their support with just only support. And the deadline for this existing ECC support is 2027. By that, every customer has to migrate to SAP, right? So that's how SAP journey has started and now concluded at S4HANA Enterprise Management. This is how SAP has come up with this product called as Enterprise Management. And SAP has now various modules, various hundreds of modules. Okay. So let me show you the core ERP suite. So this is the core ERP suite. Whatever the core modules we talked about, SD, MM, PP, FI, QM, WM. So these all HR, everything sit under this. This is the core modules, or we call it as the core of SAP, right? On top of that, SAP has various modules you could see here, hundreds of modules. Whatever you're seeing in this document is hardly 40 to 50%, because this document was from 2014-15 kind of thing. In the last 7 years, SAP has grown exponentially. And now we also have cloud. In between, SAP also acquired lots of products, lots and lots of products SAP has acquired, right? So this is how SAP has evolved, and today what we have is the S/4HANA Enterprise Management. What we talked right earlier, the three-tier architecture, presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. This is the three-tier architecture. So now let's talk about the landscape. What is landscape? Very important. You may face one question in the interviews from the landscape. Very important. And let me also tell you one thing, that is, in the SAP interviews, the questions would be 70-30%. That means 70% of time the questions asked in the interview is to test your subject knowledge, how well you are with the subject. 30% of the time the questions, 30% of the questions what asked in the interview is to test whether you are real time or not. Okay. Later, once we finish this discussion, I'll show you. Today, one person attended an interview and he has sent me interview questions. I'll show you them and I'll compare that every question in the study material, whether we have discussed or covered or not. So whatever the 30% I'm talking here, right, where they want to test your real time or not, even that questions was asked, I'll show you, right? So you are very thorough with your SAP SD knowledge, no use. That is only 70% in the interview, because 30% of questions they ask is to test your real time or not, right? So these questions comes under that category. Okay. What is your landscape? Where is your server located? What is client? Who is your client? So various questions you will be seeing. Okay. Landscape. What is landscape? Landscape is arrangement of servers. Okay. Landscape means arrangement of servers. SAP recommends to have 3 servers. Okay. SAP recommends to have 3 servers, which we call it as development server, quality and assurance, and production server. These are the 3 servers. In S/4HANA also there is no change. This is the same landscape: quality, dev system, quality, and production. But this is not, this is best practice. Whatever we are discussing throughout this training is called as best practice. That means SAP has put down some saying that do this way, you'll be benefited, right? That's called as best practices, what SAP tells us to do. But majority of the time in the industry, they overlook the best practices, because how can one same best practice fit into various industries? Cement industry, steel industry, pharma industry, automobile industry, right? So how one guidelines can fit into this many industries where the raw material is different, the finished product is different, the way we sell pharma product is different, while the way we sell the steel is different, right? How can it fit into any industry? It's not possible. At the same time, every business has their own way of functioning, right? So you walk into one store, let's say they say iPhone is maybe some $1,000. You walk into the next store, there it might be only $890. Same product, right? Apple mobile. How the price variation, right? It's because every business have their own way of functioning, the way they offer discounts or the way they calculate credit. Everything is different. Every business has their own way of functioning, right? So best practices are generally overlooked as per the business process. But in S/4HANA, SAP very strictly tells to follow the business processes, sorry, the best practices. But in ECC, they are well overlooked. In some projects, they are customized up to even 95%. 95% systems are customized. Some projects, there are very big companies where their application is customized up to 95% to that level, right? So what is landscape? It's the arrangement of servers. SAP tells you to have 3 servers, but it's not standard in the industry. As I told you, some projects may have 2 servers, some projects may have 4 servers, some projects may have 100 servers. If they ask a question in the interview, what is your landscape? What will be your answer? Anyone?
3 servers.
Right?
And
We should
server.
always with the
Yeah.
best practice. We always stick with the best practices, because if you stick with the best practices, there is no subsequent question. Why 3 servers? Can they ask a question? Why 3 servers? No, right? But if you say 2 servers, will they ask any question later? Subsequent question?
Maybe. Why only
Maybe,
2?
right? Definitely. Because first thing, they are also SAP consultants, and they might be curious to know how it is possible with two servers? If it is two servers, which server you eliminated? Because for sure you cannot eliminate these two servers. You cannot eliminate this. Obviously, you have to eliminate this server. If you eliminate this server, then where you are doing this quality assurance? Without quality assurance, you cannot submit the project, right? So if this is not the server available, then where you are doing the quality assurance, right? So see, the questions the interviewer asks might be out of curiosity. It's not to test your knowledge. Interviewer got curious because of your answer. So majority of the times in the interview, this is what happens. Okay, if you stick with the best practice, you will not have a subsequent question. If you don't stick to the best practice, what happens? You will get the subsequent questions and you cannot handle it. Because simple. What is your landscape? You said two servers. What are those? This is next question. What are those? Obviously, as I told you, you cannot eliminate these two. Okay, then there is no quality server. Then they ask, if there is no quality server, then where you are doing testing, right? You see, that's how the subsequent, and you don't know where it will land up, right? So the first success in any interview is not to have a subsequent question for your answer. That is the first thing you have to practice before even learning the subject. That is, your answer should never lead to a subsequent question. You cannot handle it. You don't know where it will end up. I'll tell you the same. Today interview also, this guy has faced the same kind of question. Probably when we reach to support project, I'll tell you that. Okay. So the next thing. So yeah, obviously you stick to only three things. So development server. What is development server? Consultants work in development server. Consultants, technical, functional, doesn't matter. Consultants work in development server. End users work in production server. Who is end user? Who creates orders? Who create customers, master data? They are end users. SAP testers work on quality assurance, testing. All the testings will be done in quality server. Okay, so you could see the landscape. This is how the landscape system would be: dev, quality, and production. So as a consultant, we do all the configurations in the development system. And once the configurations is done, these configurations are transported to quality and assurance system, where it will be thoroughly tested. And once the test case is passed, it will be transported to the production, that is go live. That means it's a live system where customer can use this data and create transactions. So when any business want to go for SAP, any business, if they decide to go for SAP, they need to buy SAP license. So when any business want to go for SAP and they buy a license, SAP delivers its license as a golden client. Okay, SAP delivers it as a golden client. And this golden client is a plain vanilla system without any user data. Only standard configurations will be there. So what the basis consultant, the administrators will be doing is, they'll copy this golden client because it's a master copy. You cannot disturb this. If you disturb, the standards are lost. So it's a master copy. Your administrators will copy this and create various clients like this. Okay, they create various clients like this. Configuration client is for functional consultant, SDM, MPP, FAQ, MWM, you name any functional module, they work here. Technical people work in development client. There's one more unit testing, maybe a sandbox or a sandbox separate system also is available, right? So golden client is already delivered with 3.0. Any client, okay, first, what is a client? I'll tell you a couple of questions now. What is a client? A client, it has a standard definition. Client has a standard definition. So a client is self-contained unit. Client is a self-contained unit which has its own tables, fields, master data, and configurations. This is a client. Because you see how tricky the question could be in the interview. If they ask a question, where is your client located? Anyone? What would be your answer? Where is your client located?
Development server.
right? So if someone don't tell you, so if I don't tell you this today, what will happen? You may say your client is in New York or maybe in Bangalore. So they're not asking about Nestle or they're not asking about Microsoft. That is not they're asking the client. When they ask a question in the interview, where is your client located? They want to test you whether you're real time or not. Because if you're real time, then only you know as a consultant, you will be working on a configuration system, and in that you have a config client. So where is your config client is located? That is in the development system, right? So what is client? Self-contained unit. Where is your client located? It's in the dev system. What master data you maintained in your config client? You are not supposed to maintain any master data in config client. You're not supposed to maintain data, any data here, right? So what data you maintained? No data, because you're not supposed to maintain, right? And what is your client number? This is a killer question in the interview. What is your client number? Because see, SAP tells you to use any number series with starting with 1 to 7. From 1 to 7, you can use any number series, but SAP tells don't use 0 and don't use 8. Okay, but we see many projects using 0 as well. That is standard in the business. We see many times these things. But SAP tells you to use any series between these things, like 101, 201, 205, anything you could use number. But this is a killer question in the interview because you see, let me show you in the server itself. Whenever you want to log into SAP system, first you have to mention the client. You see, this is the client. It's a 3 character. You have to mention the client if you want to log into the SAP system. So in the interview, they ask a question, what is your client number? What is your client number? So we see people saying it as 800 because all this training you practice in 800 client, right? 800 client is a demo client. It's a demo client. It's not a real-time client. It's for training purpose. And all the in this training, you will learn this particular system 800. If someone like me now, I don't tell you this, what happens if they ask a question in the interview? What is your client? 800. We always see this. Many times we see this answer in the interviews. What is your client? 800. Purposefully, they ask this question in the interview. Okay, so whatever the questions I told you now, is it anyway related to SD subject? Anyone? Is it anyway related to sales and distribution?
No, it's real time question.
Right? It's not related to sales and distribution. That's what. So only 70% the subject of SAP will help you in the interviews. 30% is your presence of mind, and someone has to share their experience with you like this. This kind of question you might face in the interviews, right? So that is very important question what you will be facing in the interview. That is, what is your client number? And that one question is enough. If your answer is 800, let's say, that one question is enough you to put you out of the interview. See, approximate average, any SAP interview will be for 40-45 minutes. Why would they waste their time for 45 minutes, right? There is no purpose to waste an interview every person for 45 minutes, right? So these all 30% questions I talked to you, right? Like what is your client or where is your client located? These all questions you will face in the first 10 minutes itself. In the first 10 minutes itself. Sometimes like you might be seeing your friends or someone telling that my interview was completed in just 5 minutes. Why it's completed in 5 minutes? Because of this reason. Okay. So randomly they put 3 or 4 questions in the first 5 minutes. By that time itself, they'll be knowing whether you are real-time fake. Maybe they'll extend it for another 2 or 3 minutes or maybe another 5 minutes. If they find or if they feel you're not real-time, they just conclude your interview in 10 minutes, not more than that. Why they should waste their time for another 40-45 minutes, right? There is no purpose. So these 30% questions you'll be facing in the first 10 minutes itself. Consider if you're sitting in the interview room for the 30 minutes, your profile is interesting. If you're sitting still even for 40 minutes, you got the offer. Basic thumb rule. If you are sitting in the interview room for the 40-45 minutes, you got the offer. You can just walk out with offer. Okay. If interview is extended for 20-25 minutes, 30 minutes, that means your profile was interesting. So they want to like know more about you and ask more questions to you, right? So yeah, this is how the landscape is, and what are the client and everything I told you. From today's session itself, you'll face one question, no doubt in that. Okay. So yeah, so probably yeah, we'll stop it here today, this discussion, and I'll show you a couple of more things now. On Monday, we'll discuss about roles and responsibility of a consultant in the new implementation project. So class 1, class 2, you might think they are intro sessions or demo kind of things, but no. I'll show you now how important every session is. You may think first 5 classes or first 10 classes might be basic, right? I'll show you now how important even the first, second, third class also can be when it comes to the interview, right? So this is a general basic discussion for us to understand what is landscape. So any questions on this before we proceed I'll show you the interview questions and other stuff, and we'll talk more on these things.
So the client number could be anything from 1 to 7 in a 3-digit
1 to
number.
7, you can put it anything. 105, 601, 607, anything it could be.
It wouldn't be
Whatever
a
you say in the
problem.
interview, you should be confident. Whatever you say in the answer in the interview, you should be confident. And second thing, interviewer cannot cross question. Let's say you say your client number is 106. Interviewer cannot cross question why it is 107. Why can't it be 201? No. Every business has its own adoption. So interviewer cannot cross question saying that why it is 107, why it's 201. But if you say 800, definitely they can cross question, because that is industry standard. Never it should be 800, right? Okay. Any other
Right.
questions on this so far what we discussed? Okay, so now let me show you. I just received a message today, as I told you, one person attended an interview from my March batch, I guess, March to April, April to May. This is May, right? No, February batch. You could see, yeah. So you see, we have a resume preparation session, right? Yeah. As I told you, this guy is from March batch, March to April, not February batch, February to March, and March to April, and May. This is May, right? So we started working on his resume. You could see on the dates, right? Hardly some 20 days back, because this batch was concluded in the end of April. And once we are done with the training, no, not after the training, within the training itself, our resume preparation, everything will be done. Our last class puts a dot for everything. Resume preparation, interview preparation, mock interview, everything. Last session will put a dot for everything. So after 1 month of training itself, we'll start resume preparation. So I want you to come with a draft resume so that we can work on your profile. You can have, you might be 2018 passed out or this all things, right? So let us summarize everything. So I ask everyone to come up with a draft resume, and we'll have one-on-one session, and we'll be discussing and freezing the resumes. So hardly 20 days back, and this guy has sent me today the interview questions, what he faced today he has sent me. Let me show you that questions, and let me relate with my previous trainees who has attended training. At the same time, let me show you whether these questions was discussed in the training or not. Let me show you, because this will give you a confidence that we are in line with what industry requirement. Because see, whatever I'm showing now is today's scenario, May 2022 on 20th of May. It's not 1 month or 1 year old scenario. I told you, right? We'll sync with the industry, and whatever we say, industry follows. That's how it is. End of the day, in 40 minutes interview, if they ask 30 questions, you will answer 30 questions. The least and worst case is you'll answer 25 questions. So it's hand in hand. We follow the industry, and industry follows us. That's damn sure the questions would be. So let me show you. So this is the document what he has sent me today. You could see on WhatsApp 20/05/2022. This is what he has sent me, and these are the questions. So first two questions you could just leave you, tell me about where all you worked. You see this question? We are going to discuss this on Monday. I told you, right? First few sessions doesn't mean they are basics. You cannot ignore or you cannot take it for granted for the first 5 sessions or something. It can be basic kind of thing. Implement, I'll just show you. Wait. So we have topic wise questions, right? I told you there will be topic and every topic wise questions will be there. I just take you to the topic wise questions. So pretty sure 30 out of 30 will answer in the interview. The least case is maybe some 25. The least is 25 what you'll be answering. So from which phase, right? Yeah, you see from which phase of SAP methodology you are involved in project, correct? You see this question. In which phase you worked in first project, right? Done. That's the first question. You see, we covered it. Then next, tell me the phases of implementation and explain the BBP phase, right? So these all questions are whatever up to question number 6, so up to question number 5. These 3 or 4 questions are from the first 5 sessions. These all questions are from first 5 sessions. You can see. Tell me the phase of implementation and explain the BBP phase, right? That's what it is asked. So what are the phases we have of implementation? There are 5 phases. You see, SAP methodology, 5 phases. That's the same question they asked. Tell me phases of implementation. 5 phases, right? Second question, discussed. They asked about BBP. We will discuss BBP in very detail. You could see this BBP phase. We'll discuss this in very detail. This is one session actually. You see, very detailed. We discuss what all is your activity in the BBP phase and everything, right? So they asked a question. Explain the BBP phase. Explain third-party process. Obviously, we'll discuss this. It's a business process. Very, very, very detailed. We'll discuss this business process. Let me show you. In the business process, you see third-party process. Very detailed. We'll discuss this process. You see third-party business process. This is how we discuss the complete third-party business process, right? Configuration and everything. So that's what the question asked. Miro and MyGo, it's the same here itself. In the same concept it comes. The Miro and MyGo. Let me show you. You see, this is MyGo, and this is Miro, right? Even this question, you see that the question number 8 is also discussed. Question number 9, prerequisites. Okay. Now let me also show you one another lady who has attended Capgemini has sent the questions. This is Capgemini questions. You see here, what is a third-party process? The same question, right? And you see this question number 6, can you see? Prerequisites for availability check, right? This is Capgemini interview, prerequisites for availability check. And you see this interview. You see this question number 9, prerequisites of availability check. So whatever we are seeing questions, that is today's interview. So you could see how well we are syncing with the industry. You see these prerequisites to perform availability check, which is discussed, right? And this question you see, it was also asked in Capgemini. Third process is also asked in Capgemini. Then let me show you the other question. Pricing steps of pricing, right? You see, pricing steps, right? We have discussed every step of pricing, the 5 steps, whatever would be there. So every step of pricing was discussed. Okay. Then next, condition supplement. It's about condition supplement. Anyone from previous batch attending for revision? Anyone now
Sir.
attending?
Yeah.
Mandar?
Yeah, hi, Mandar here.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
relate, Mandar, the questions? What are we are seeing
Yeah,
now?
absolutely.
Right? Anyone else?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So that's what we see with the industry. So condition supplement, right? What we are seeing, condition update, condition index, somewhere it should be here. You see, condition supplement. In very detailed way, we discuss this condition supplement. Correct? Moment type for third party. You remember, Mandar? I used to tell in the interview. This will be for sure one question. Just yesterday we discussed this in my
Yeah.
morning batch. Even in my morning batch also I told you yesterday. Just yesterday. This will be one question. Moment type for
Yeah,
third
yeah.
party. Then
Yes, yes.
item category for
I guess
order
there is
free.
no moment type,
There is no
right?
moment type.
Am I
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. There is no
Okay.
moment type.
Thank
I'll
you.
also show you in the system. Everyone, you can write it now, everyone. This will be a question for you also in the interview. Every interview I tell this question. Every batch I tell this question. And every interview they ask this question. So third party CS. You see third party and you go to details. This is moment type field blank. No moment type for third party. Why? That's a unique scenario. So that is the reason they ask this question in the interviews. What is the just yesterday morning 6:15 session we finished this schedule lines. Anyone from morning batch? Currently going on morning batch.
Yes, yes. I'm
You're
Sridhar.
there? I did it. Hi
Yes,
Sridhar.
yes.
Did I mention this?
Yes,
Moment
yes, you told.
right? I told
Correct.
right. Just yesterday we discussed this, and you can see the question. So item categories, there are multiple item categories. We discussed this. You see this for question number 14. Configuration for automatic credit check. You see this? Where is it? Yeah, you see this? Question number 4, automatic credit check. Question number 4, automatic credit check. And you could see here they asked a question on automatic credit check. And we discussed this very thorough in our interview, in our discussions. So credit management 275, probably we can go to 279. Automatic credit check, right? Do you see any questions on ALE or LE, GST? Do you see any question here? So yesterday I told you, right? Whatever we need, that is what
Yes,
we
sir.
are covering. I told you, right? I can extend this training for 2 years. I can teach you for 2 years SAP. But does that really require wasting our time for 6 months, 1 year? There's no purpose learning what industry don't want. From today's interview, you are seeing the questions, right? So automatic credit check. T code to maintain credit limit. Every 32, it's already there in the document. T code to create. You see this? T code to create PO and PR. Going back to what is the third party number we have seen? 350, I guess. Somewhere here. T code to create. You see this? T code to create purchase. You see how clearly it was written here. T code to create PO. And you see the highlights. Throughout my document, you will see a highlight. What is the T? That's what the question you asked here. You see T code to create PO. And few more questions you are saying. Industry follow us. It's not we are following industry. Coming to SAP SD module, industry follow me. I can tell you, industry follows me. That's what the SD will be, right? So out of these 17 questions, maybe we missed not even one question we missed, right? So you got confidence, everyone? Still any question? Will you not get a job? Yesterday I told you, right? You will get a job. That's the first thing I told you. I don't know your education qualification, nothing. But I told you, you will get a job. Why? Because it's confidence on me and my training and the content what I'm providing. There is no single question on GST. There is no single question on IDOCS, or there is no single question on logistics execution. Industry don't need them. Whatever industry need is, this is the thing. Okay, you'll definitely need those things in the real time, maybe, but coming to the interviews, you don't need it. Industry follows me. You can write it. Even in this, also, if I give this document to my existing previous batch, out of 21 questions, easily they can answer 19 to 20. So did you get the confidence now? If I say you'll answer 30 out of 30, is it possible? Anyone? Do you feel it is exaggerated kind of thing?
No, sir.
Not at all. There are hundreds of times it happened where people answered all 30 out of 30 kind of questions. Every question they answered in interview. Because nothing is out of our scope. Everything is within our scope. Just yesterday I told in morning batch, this can, question number 12, what you are seeing here. Just yesterday I told, this can be your question. And you could see here. Right? This is sure shot what this training would be. So confined to whatever we are discussing, if your friends or someone is telling that, do you know GST or do you know IDOCS, you know ALE IDOCS, or you know variant configuration, just ignore them. Okay? We will not waste our time. I'll not waste your time. I'll not waste my time. We'll be very crisp and we'll stick to what we need and what industry is expecting. That's it. So what do you feel? I don't see you at Sridhar, right? To the morning batch now.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
only half of the training has been finished.
yeah,
Sridhar.
yeah, yeah.
What do you feel,
Last
Sridhar,
month,
now by seeing this?
yes, yes, I felt so happy.
Right. So whatever we discussed so far concepts, I hope you could see all the questions here, right?
Yes, yes. Last month, 30th only I joined.
Yeah, you joined a little late, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you could see, right? And from tomorrow, you in that batch will start pricing. You'll also see this condition supplement everything. I showed you, right? Everything is from this document itself. This is how clearly it is written. And the same question was asked in the same manner. T code to create purchase order. Even you take this interview questions as well. This is also the same. You could see risk category. Okay. Yeah. In this particular, again, this question was asked. Where is it? Requirement type. Somewhere it should be. Yeah. You can also mark it now today itself. Question number 7. What you are seeing here. You go 5 interviews. In 3 interviews, you will face this question. How to determine requirement type in SD module? You'll face this question for sure. You can write it. Right. Yeah. So this is for today. So any questions, please go ahead. I hope I've given you enough confidence and the roadmap how you can get into the industry. You don't need to worry about what the contents we're discussing or whether you can get into an industry or not. For sure, you'll get into the industry, and this is what industry expects. Maybe plus or minus some 2 to 3% change would be there. That questions you can leave it for just choice kind of thing, because no one expects 30 out of 30. At least if you answer 25, they're happy. At least you answer 25 questions out of 30, they're happy. So you'll be definitely answering more than 25 questions for 30 questions. Yeah. So any questions for today, please go ahead.
Sir, hello.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sir, tomorrow onwards we have class for S4HANA, right?
Yes.
So I haven't received any link for that.
So now let me tell you 2 things. So if anyone, like, if you want to, can you please mute Abdul? Let me just give some important update. Please mute everyone. Yeah. So if you want to continue this training, as you could please reach me on the WhatsApp. Please text me on WhatsApp so that payment and other things we can take it and we could move further. That's one thing. And who has already paid for this SD training, please ping me on WhatsApp your email ID. I need your Gmail ID so that I can send you the documents and videos, everything through G Drive. So who has already paid and has subscribed, so please ping me your Gmail ID and WhatsApp so that you can receive the documents and videos over the weekend. And from tomorrow, S4HANA is starting morning 6:30 to 8 o'clock. If someone want to attend S4HANA first 2 sessions, please ping me on WhatsApp for link. I can send you the link for first 2 classes. Okay. So if you want to subscribe for this training, please ping me on this number on WhatsApp.
And one more thing, sir. I haven't received a recorded class of yesterday.
No, that will be sent only after the payment confirmation and once you enroll into the training.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So after this class, I will ping you on WhatsApp regarding the S4HANA join.
Yeah. So whoever want to attend S4HANA first 2 sessions, please ping me on WhatsApp. At the same time, who has already paid, please ping me on WhatsApp or your email ID. I can send you the documents and videos over the weekend. Yeah. Any other questions? Please go ahead. You could see in this document, throughout the documents, you will see lots of highlights in various colors. You will see. So today itself, I tell you, that's going to be your questions, interview questions. Whatever you see in the red, blue, green kind of highlights throughout the document, these are going to be interview questions. Okay, so there
Sir,
are
both
some
the
other
morning
highlights
and
here. Yeah, what's that?
sir, morning and evening sessions will be same or it will be different? Sir, topics will be different or same? It will be same.
No, there is only one topic, one batch for this month. There are 3 batches parallelly going on. One is morning 6:15 to 7:15, 7:15 to 8:15, and evening 8 to 9 o'clock. Every month there will be 3 parallel batches going on, but one batch would be new every month any of this timing. So for this month, this is the new batch at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Evening batch is new, na sir?
Yes, this batch is new.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so
what
first thing
timing
is
for the
you, yeah,
S4 HANA
go ahead.
batch?
S4HANA 6:30 to 8 a.m. IST, Saturday,
Okay,
Sunday.
okay. Okay, sir. I'll pin you the message.
Yeah, so you want to attend first 2 sessions, please ping me on WhatsApp. I can share the link.
Yes, sir.
6:30 to 7:30.
8 o'clock. 6:30 to 8 o'clock, maybe extended another 10-15 minutes.
Morning, Saturday,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Sir, one question.
Go ahead.
For enrollment, we have to pay total money at one time?
For?
For enrollment.
No, you please ping me on WhatsApp. We will take it individually. Okay. Anything
Okay.
related to enrollment, fees, bank details, these all things, please ping me on WhatsApp. Any other questions?
Okay.
Because anyway you are subscribing, you will pay and continue. But any other questions you have still like how to manage experience, whether you will get a job or not, will this training help or not? Any that kind of important questions you want to discuss, please let me clarify everything before you enroll to this training. Yeah. So keep in mind, you don't need to be an MBA. You don't need to have sales experience. Doesn't matter you are from zoology background or you are from commerce background. If you are graduate, you are enrolling to this training, you will get a job. Okay. The sole purpose of this training is to get a job for you. There's no other fun for us to catch up every day for 2 months for you and for me. Only the purpose, our objective is to get a job. That's only the objective of this training. Okay. And as I told you, we'll put a dot at 4 years. Everyone, you attempt at the 4 years interviews, and the package what you can get is 12 lakhs, comfortably 12 lakhs. There is a scope you could get up to 15 lakhs as well. Right? Yeah. Any questions, please go ahead.
So there is any criteria for the educational criteria?
Nothing, graduate. Some companies, the tier 1 companies like Infosys, TCS, these companies look for 60% throughout the education, but that is not for job. It is to filter. because one
Okay.
job 100 people apply. So there should be various filtration criteria, right, to take interview for only last 5. So some top companies will look for 60% throughout the education, but there are another 1,000 companies ready to give you an offer. Don't worry. Don't go fancy. Don't like put a thing like I want only Infosys or something. Get into industry. But there are people, I'll tell you one case. There is one person who want to work only in Deloitte. He don't want any company. He cracked 13 interviews. He has taken 13 offers. At last, he joined in Deloitte. He has waited for 2 months until he scheduled Deloitte interview and joined Deloitte. If you have very particular like that, some company near to your home or in hometown kind of thing, then you could wait and crack that interview. If not, offers will keep coming for you. Don't worry. In the first 3 interviews itself, you'll get placed. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone? Please go ahead. Any question to job, market, or industry, experience, age, education, anything?
Hi, Praveen.
Yeah, please.
I have experience in 14 years in that actually as an end customer end user in SAP.
Okay, let me take Venkat question first. Everyone, please mute.
Okay.
Venkat, please go ahead.
Maybe I have a 14 years of experience in SAP as an end user in the
End user,
only.
okay. Okay.
So that will affect anything in my training or anything?
Yeah, so you're an end user, right? That experience will not work for consultant. So you will learn this training. You can go through this training, learn the configurations and everything, and present 4 years you can show as a consultant.
Okay.
Or else you can also try in the same way. You could just take the training and you can show your 14 years experience, because industry requires subject matter experts. If you're experienced in one industry for the last 10 years or something, they value that experience. Okay. So profile will work out. Don't worry about the profile, how to show and this all things. That is, we have 2-3 options kind of thing. How can we manage?
Okay.
Okay. So someone was asking question, please.
Yeah, before enrolling of S4HANA, will you provide the link for first 2 classes?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned, right? Please ping me on WhatsApp so I can send you the links.
Okay.
Sir, what about the server, sir? How we can use that?
For ECC, I don't provide server. I provide server for S4HANA for 2 months. ECC, I can give you the vendor number. You can directly contact them, or if you know someone, you can take it from them. The vendor contact what I share, that will cost you some 1,000 rupees for 3 months. Approximate 1,000 for 3 months. It's not mandatory or necessary you should go with that guy. You can go with anyone if you know. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other question, anyone? Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? Please go ahead.
So I have a question here. Is that the contact you are sharing with us, he will provide the server. Server in the sense he will provide us the login credentials.
Absolutely. The same thing what you're seeing on my system. Okay.
So so we will have to install this software as well, right?
I don't recommend installing on the system. Go for remote desktop, because if you install SAP, it takes a huge space actually. So you
Then
cannot
how
use in your laptop. Just go for remote desktop. You need only IP address and a login ID. You can just connect through remote desktop.
So this guy will help me out in that.
Yes, that guy. You tell your laptop configuration and everything, they can better guide you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question, anyone?
So and from when we should start working on this
First
hands-on
4 sessions would be theoretical. First 4 sessions, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be theoretical. Only on the Friday, we'll start with the server. We'll not directly jump into the SD subject. As I told you, if that is the case, you'll fail because I already showed you the questions, 3 or 4 questions, which was asked from the first 3-4 sessions. I told you, right? These all are theoretical. So first, let us be very familiar with what is our roles and responsibility, what is implementation project and everything, and then only we'll start with our subject. First 4 sessions or 3 sessions at least will be theoretical.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone?
So, just a quick question. I know it's like, just you said, please don't install the entire application. Use it as some robot. What you said? Sorry,
Remote desktop.
remote, remote desktop. Is it same
Yes.
as we are like using WhatsApp web, like without being installing the software, but still using it?
Yes,
Is it like that?
absolutely. Yes, absolutely the same. It will not take much space for you. Okay. Server is remote and you are just connecting to the server and you're working, and whatever you save, it will be saved in the server, nothing on your system. So it saves
Oh,
lots of space for you in the system.
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
And
Last time? Okay.
and one more thing is that, sir, like you said earlier, that you don't know us, what are our
Okay.
strengths and weaknesses, but still you
Absolutely.
affirmingly said that we will get a job, sir. I mean, what is that factor,
Yes.
sir?
I told you, right, that's a confidence on me how I structured this program. I know what industry wants. I know the industry in bird's eye view. So 50% is my hard work. I have put everything in place. You will get this much of documentation, you'll be getting study materials, you'll be getting interview questions, you'll be getting guidance, resume preparation, everything. 50% is my hard work. Your 50% is utilizing my hard work. That's it. Just follow the
Okay, sir.
guidelines and do what I say. That you don't need anything more than this. 50% I have done already for you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So any other questions, anyone?
Hello, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Presently, I'm working in a business development and I want to shift in the internal sales. And whenever I tried for the interviews, they are telling that I have to be proficient in the SAP. So this training will be useful for me for that.
Yeah, this training is much more than that actually.
Okay, because we are in the
Because you will.
product-based company, and which screen you are showing that time SAP screen, that the same thing we are using in my office. But I am not working
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that presently. But whenever
yeah,
I am trying for the interviews, they are asking for the same SAP profession you should.
yes, yes. So SAP, they might be asking you to be a end user, not even a consultant. This
Yeah, they
training will
are
put
in you for the end user.
end user, right? No, that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not we want actually. We want to be consultants.
Huh.
Okay. End user is front end users. Consultants are the back end, and you will be a consultant with this training, not even end user.
Okay.
So hopefully I answered all your questions. And still any question, you could text me or you can call me for further clarifications. So tomorrow S4 HANA is starting. If anyone is interested to attend the first class of S4 HANA, please ping me on WhatsApp. If you want to enroll for this SD, please ping me on WhatsApp. We could take it further. Right? So thanks everyone for attending these 2 sessions, and we'll catch up back on Monday with our class 3, same time, evening 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Right? Thanks everyone for attending this session. Happy weekend. Good day. Bye.
Thank you, sir.